Hey, what's up? We're back, and this week it's for UFC 140 or UFC on ESPN Plus 7, and it's for going to be in Russia on this card. And first of all, I just want to say sorry for the delay getting it out on Tuesday instead of Monday, but I had a couple of things to do this weekend, so it was a little bit, backed up on watching these fights. So, but getting it on Tuesday here. But the first fight of the night's a banger here with Magomed Mustafaev against Rafael Fiziev. And Mustafaev, he's making his return after a pretty long layoff. He hasn't competed since losing to Kevin Lee in November of 2016. I'm not sure why he took such a long time off. I think he had, a pretty long list of injuries and, just needed that time off to get ready. But he's a Russian combat sambo master sport. He's a pretty bad striker, man. He's a bad dude. He is not really there to make friends, man. He goes in there, he goes for the kill, and all of his wins are via finish. And in the one fight that he went to decision in his career, he lost. So definitely someone that tries to get his work done before the judges' scorecards. He's training in Dagestan for this fight. He has also trained at Jackson Wink before, but he's definitely more of a striker. Unlike a lot of these Dagestanis, he has 0 takedowns in 3 UFC fights, and he's a power striker. He likes to walk opponents into his shots. He's very explosive. He has a nice straight and overhand right. He has fast hand speed, and he can really rock opponents in exchanges. He will also throw very nice uppercuts. He has a good left hook, and he likes to pull fighters into spinning back kicks, spinning punches, or spinning back fist, and flying knees. He has heavy round kicks to the body. He throws a ton of power on those kicks. Tends to lose some speed and explosiveness a little bit midway through the first round, and he's still dangerous after that, but he's not quite the same in my opinion. He's very aggressive. He's hittable. And I think on the feet, unless he gets a quick knockout, he'll probably be a step behind in this fight against Fiziev, who's, a really good striker. But he does have power and he can't be slept on for sure. He has 8 KO TKOs and he has a good chin. He's never been finished by strikes. He isn't much of an offensive wrestler, but he looks to be okay in the clinch. He throws hard elbows, big knees, and he will drop down for single legs, but it seems as he almost just does that to create opportunities to land punches or shots off the break. He is good at throwing straight punching combinations with his free hand while he has a hold of a leg against the cage, but he has 0 takedowns in the UFC, so you have to think that maybe that's going to be a part of his game plan here against a very elite striker like Fiziev, but it's going to be interesting. He is training at, a mecca of wrestling in Dagestan, so he definitely has the training partners to sharpen those tools. And I have seen him in M1 Global where he's been able to close the distance, get body locks, and he looks to be very aggressive in top position as well. He has good pressure passing ability. He has good ground and pound. He likes to get to the side control, the crucifix position, good in scrambles. And I feel, if he can get top position against Fiziev, maybe he could do some damage there. But it's going to be interesting to see if he can, because in the UFC, he has been taken down quite a few times. Piotr Hallman took him down, and he was submitted by Kevin Lee. He does have good takedown defense, so in my opinion. He even has a win over Khabib's brother, Abubakar Nurmagomedov. So I have seen him counter with the Kimura, and he will jump for guillotines as well. He's pretty active in his guard when he's taken down. He'll throw up triangles, arm bars. But, I don't think that he's going to be on his back in this fight unless he's, rocked. He has 4 submissions. He's been submitted twice, both by rear naked choke. But I think Mustafaev should look to get a quick takedown, test that ground game with Fiziev. And if he can exploit him there on top, get a quick finish, that's the best case scenario for him. But either way, I think it's going to give Fiziev something to think about. If he can mix it up, I see him potentially, being able to land some nice shots on the feet after that. I do think the likelihood that Mustafaev gets a knockout, especially if round 1 ends, is pretty unlikely. And for Rafael Fiziev, he's going to be making his UFC debut, and he's an elite Muay Thai striker. He has over 200 amateur Muay Thai fights, 29-4 as a pro in Muay Thai, silver medalist in the World IFMA Muay Thai Championship, and he went pro in MMA in 2015. He's 6-0, so he's still fairly young in his career, but finished all 6 of his wins by KO. Very light on his feet. He has good distance control, really good head movement. I mean, you should look up Rafael Fiziev Enters the Matrix on YouTube. I mean, you could see him dodge a kick where he's looking like he's doing the limbo. And, I mean, he slips and rips excellently. He has nice leg kicks, heavy body and head kicks. And Very nice straight right hand, devastating left hook. I mean, this guy's a really nice striker. Good at countering with his left hook going backwards, and he'll follow with the right hook after. And you can slip and return with the left hook, straight or overhand right combination. And he's famous, for throwing nice round question mark kicks to the head, nice spinning back fist, flying knees. He has a head kick KO, body kick KO, flying knee KO. He has one shot power for sure. He's very aggressive, and he's technical. He doesn't allow opponents many opportunities to hit him or hurt him. Doesn't tend to throw much in combination unless he has an opponent hurt or on the back foot. And he will slowly break opponents. He'll throw leg kicks, go to the body, and then start going to the head. And if he can keep fights standing, he's going to be trouble for a ton of UFC fighters. And 5 KO, TKOs, and 6 MMA fights. He looks strong in the clinch as well. Nice underhooks. He'll throw hard knees, big elbows. He'll go body head, and he likes to grab the Muay Thai plum, throw knees from that position. I haven't seen him attempt many takedowns or defend many. In his recent fight, he did go for an unsuccessful takedown. He was able to defend a single leg, but overall, there's been very limited tape on his ground game and wrestling ability. He does have one career rear naked choke, and I do think his fast twitch muscles, his footwork, his counters are going to make it hard for fighters to get in on his legs. He's explosive, he's athletic, and he's very experienced in fighting in combat sports. I don't think he's going to gas. I don't think he's going to be overwhelmed by the moment. And, most likely I see him trying to keep the fight on the feet. And if he can keep it standing over 3 rounds, his technical superiority will prevail. He needs to be ready to make Mustafaev pay for takedown attempts, stay off his back. And I'm actually going to go with the newcomer here. I think Fiziev is going to be able to deny some takedown attempts. I think he's going to be able to outstrike Mustafaev. Mustafaev's dangerous. He's very explosive, but it can't be anything Fiziev has never seen. And I expect him to be able to find counters. And as the fight goes on, start to pick up the pace, piece up Mustafaev, land a lot of kicks. And I see him being able to really beat Mustafaev up or get a late finish. So I'm going to go with Rafael Fiziev by second or third round KO TKO in this fight. And up next here we have a fun fight with Michal Oleksiejczuk against Gadzhimurad Antigulov. And, this is kind of a grappler versus striker battle here. And, Gadzhimurad's going to be in his home country. But, I was talking to my buddy Marcin, he's from Poland, and he was telling me that, Michal, he trains with Robert and Hubert Roskowicz, who's, they're former wrestlers. I know Robert won a JUCO national title over here in the U.S., so Michal's definitely, acquainted to wrestling, so I think that, he's going to have a decent wrestling game. Is he going to be able to stop takedowns of Gadzhimurad? That's going to be the tail of the fight, most likely, and, for Gadzhimurad Antigulov, he has a really nice straight right hand, uses that straight or overhand right to kind of close the distance, get in on takedowns, get it to the ground, and really likes to take the back, get rear naked chokes. He'll get nice guillotines, and that's what he really wants to do, and he's really good at getting the first round finish. He had a 14-fight win streak before this fight, and he had that snap by Jan Kutilaba, and he was finished. So, he was looking good in that fight as well. He got a takedown. He was looking for submission, but when Kutilaba was able to weather the storm, you could tell that Gadzhimurad was very gassed out. And I feel like even in this fight, if Gadzhimurad can't finish in the first round, even if he gets a takedown, even if he's controlling it on the ground, I think that, Michal's going to be able to come back here. So I think that kind of Gadzhimurad's going to really have to go for that first round finish here. But for Michal Oleksiejczuk, he's looked pretty impressive. He's fought 2 guys where it's kind of like, damn, this is a completely different matchup because you're not going to learn much about a guy's grappling when you're fighting Khalil Roundtree and Gian Vellante. But look good in both those fights. We saw Khalil Roundtree just light up Eric Anders. Obviously, that's not the same Khalil that Michal fought, but Michal's a very active guy. He's a nice boxer, and he really attacks the body. And I feel like that body attack, especially with a guy like Gadzhimurad Antigulov who gets tired in fights, I think that body attack is going to probably pay off for Michal as the fight goes on. And I really think that as these rounds stretch, he's going to be able to, pull away, and he might even be able to finish. But the only reason why this fight is a little bit sketchy as well is because it is in Russia, and Antigulov could get a weird decision. But I feel like Oleksiejczuk is a southpaw, he's a power striker. He comes forward, he puts a lot of pressure on. I mean, he has technical boxing, man, fast hands. He'll go body head. He has nice fakes, good feints, and very good durability. He eats shots. He's able to return. His overhand left, his left hook in the pocket is really nice. Nice 1-2s, and good defense. Good defense at close range. He's good at blocking and returning. Good round kicks, front kicks to the body. He keeps a lot of volume out there, and I just think that he's fighting these guys that are known to gas. I mean, even though, like I said, these aren't good matchups or not good equivalents to see, like, if he can handle grappling in Khalil and Gian Vellante, but both those guys are known to gas. Gadzhimurad is known to gas, and Oleksiejczuk just needs to be able to stay off his back, or even if he's on his back in the first round, just not get submitted. And I think he's going to be able to win because even in his fight against Khalil, he showed good fight IQ. He was able to catch a kick, take Khalil down, keep him down, had a nice single leg, had some nice elbows on the ground. And, I haven't seen much off his back, but, he has been submitted one time. But I just think he needs to be able to put the pressure on Gadzhimurad, start to defend a couple takedowns, and I think he could break him, man. I think if he could defend a couple takedowns, start hitting him to that body, start piecing him up a little bit, I think Gadzhimurad's the type of guy to maybe not find a way out, but I just don't think he has the striking and the gas tank to be able to win a fight without getting takedowns and top control or getting first round finishes. I mean, he has a few second round finishes, but predominantly all his wins will be a first round finish, and if he goes out here and he submits Michal in the first round, that would be a big statement. It would be a big comeback win after that loss to Kutilaba. But I just think Michal's, going to be able to come in here and get another statement win, 3 in a row, and then most likely get a top 15 opponent. So I'm going with Michal Oleksiejczuk to get the victory here. And up next is a fight I really want nothing to do with betting-wise, but it's Marcin Tybura against Shamil Abdurakhimov. And, not really impressed with either guy. I mean, I did cash on Shamil in his last fight against Andrei Arlovsky, and thought he won that fairly easily, but it wasn't like he had an outstanding performance there. I mean, Shamil is what he is, man. He's a low output guy, decent counters with power, so he has to be respected, and he can get some body lock takedowns. He can have some top control, and, that's how he wins fights. He wins fights through just being able to pot shot guys, get them a little gun shy, then start to out volume them with a low output game plan, pacing himself. And he has a very, professional game that he's been able to use over the years and get a lot of wins because he's 37 years old. He's a veteran in the game. He's a former M1 global champion fighting in his home country. So he has probably a lot of things going for him in this fight in terms of, training hard, being really prepared and motivated to win here. And he knows that if he can get a win here, I mean, then he'll probably be getting a top 15 opponent, maybe be getting a lot more respect. And it's a big fight for him in this career trajectory. I mean, a loss would most likely indicate he's not going to be a top 15 fighter. I don't want to say that because heavyweight is so shallow that, anything could happen there. But I would say that this would be a very damaging loss for him. And for a guy like Tybura definitely is the more dynamic guy. He's the better striker in terms of more variety. I think he has the more ability to land a one-shot knockout. But the thing about Tybura is, he can get tired and he can get very sloppy in there where he has his hands down, leaves openings for finishes. And he's a guy that can beat himself. And I feel like Shamil's a guy that doesn't beat himself. So that is something that's, it is there. But overall, I feel like I just don't think Shamil's going to be able to take down Tybura like he was able to do with Arlovsky. Tybura, he was able to get the win against Struve, get a few takedowns. And even in that fight, though, you could tell where Tybura was getting hit a lot. He does have a good chin, and he's able to take a lot of punishment. He went, 5 full rounds with Fabricio Verdum, but he's a guy where he could be winning the whole fight, like against Derek. I mean, Shamil also did this, but where they're both winning the whole fight against Derek Lewis and they get knocked out. But I feel like Tybura is a guy that has more lapses. He leaves more openings to get wins, but I'm struggling with who's going to win this fight. But I'm going to go with Marcin Tybura. I mean, I've been flip flopping back and forth. I could see Shamil maybe winning a very low volume, sloppy decision, but I'm going to say Tybura is maybe able to land the more impactful shots, maybe get a takedown, maybe drop Shamil one time. So I'm going to go with Marcin Tybura to get the victory there. And I don't know. I feel like Tybura is just going to be able to do a little bit more. And yeah, so I'm going to go with Tybura via unanimous or split decision in that fight. And up next here we have Alexander Yakovlev against Alex da Silva. And Yakovlev, he's making his return to the octagon after almost 3 years away from the sport. I'm not sure why he took so much time away, but he's going to be looking to return at 155. He is 1-0 at 155 in the UFC. He's only 1-4 at 170, so maybe it's a good decision to make the drop down if he can do it safely. He's going to have a big height and reach advantage. He's going to be, 6'1" at 155, and he's a more technical striker. He likes to use his range, land jabs, straight punches. He'll throw 1-2s, nice straight left hand, and he uses to maintain distance. He'll follow the straight left with the right uppercut or right hook, and nice inside leg kicks. He has good body and head kicks also, and he uses a lot of movement. He doesn't like to brawl or exchange much. Does tend to sometimes extend his arms to defend punches or circle away with his hands low, and it does leave him susceptible to being hit, but he also stands heavy on his lead leg when he sits down on punches, can get leg kicked. He does have some power. He has 9 KO TKOs. He's only been finished once, so he has a pretty solid chin, and he's a strong grappler. I imagine he's going to be trying to wrestle in this fight. He's solid in the clinch with knees. He has decent control there. And he has nice timing on singles, doubles. He's okay at elevating opponents, moving directly into side control off the takedowns, and he will catch kicks, take opponents down off the kicks. He has a strong mount. He'll chase the back mount. And he doesn't have the greatest top control. Fighters have been able to scramble back to their feet when he takes them down. He can also be taken down himself, but he's decent off his back. He was able to survive 3 rounds with a guy like Damian Maia. And, even took Damian Maia down. Expect Yakovlev to try to walk da Silva into takedowns, control on top, and he likes to take the back, get rear naked chokes. He has 8 submissions, and he has been submitted 4 times, but he has solid cardio. He has a good style to win decisions, and he's going to want to stay long, use his jab, straight punches, catch da Silva as he tries to get inside. He should also try to mix it up, like I said, take him down, push him against the cage, and if he can get da Silva on his back, he has to just worry about top control, and I don't think he wants to try to go for submissions or, a lot of explosive passes because I don't think he wants da Silva to get in top position, but he also has a big size advantage, and I feel like as the fight goes on, he can grind on da Silva and just beat him with, the more UFC experience and the more, tenure against better guys. But Alex da Silva has an impressive record. He's 20-1. He's fighting out of Brazil, and he's replacing Teemu Packalén, who's, not a very good fighter, so I feel like this is a harder fight for Yakovlev, but he's only getting about 2 weeks' notice for this match, but he's been ping-ponging between featherweight, lightweight throughout his career, and he's probably going to be very undersized here because Yakovlev is fighting at 170. I mean, he's fought beasts, man. He's fought guys like Kamaru Usman, Zach Cummings, who's not 185, so this is going to be a big step down in terms of size of guys that he's seen. But da Silva's fast. He's light on his feet. Nice jab, nice 1-2. Heavy leg kicks. He throws them early and often. He'll throw a left hook, right uppercut combination. And he has very nice head kicks, front knees to the body and the head. And over on the feet, though, he's wild. He's dangerous, but he leaves a lot of openings. He does have multiple one-shot finishes, so he has big power. He has explosiveness. He has 13 knockouts, and he's finished all 19 of his pro wins. He's never been finished in his career, so that's something that's going for him too. He has a good chin, and he's very aggressive in the grappling as well. He'll throw brutal elbows in the clinch. He cuts fighters open with elbows, good knees to the body and the head. And his weakness is his wrestling, though. Allows fighters to back him up. And once fighters get it on his legs, fairly easy to take down. He is active off his back. He'll create scrambles to get top position. When he gets top control, he really likes to take the back, get rear naked chokes, and does a decent job of wrestling when he can push fighters to the cage. He'll shoot double legs, but overall, I would say he's not a great wrestler, and he shouldn't really look to wrestle here. He tends to shoot from way too far out when he starts to get hit, and it leaves him susceptible to being put on his back or, caught in a choke, and he's very hard to hold down. He's a good scrambler, but in his one loss, he was grinded out for 2 rounds, but he has good cardio, I would say. He's very aggressive. He's always going to be looking for the finish. 7 submissions. I feel that he should even fight at 145. I think that he's going to be much smaller than Yakovlev, but he is a live dog. He needs to close the distance, get inside, make it more of a brawl, try to land low kicks, catch Yakovlev circling away with combinations. And if he gets taken down, try to attack with submission, scramble to top control. And I feel if he can get in top control, he may be able to do some damage. But Yakovlev, he hasn't fought in nearly 3 years. De Silva's style, could get him an early finish if Yakovlev comes in a little bit, hesitant, a little bit, not adjusted yet since he's taken such time off. But I think the size advantage is going to be able to get takedowns on De Silva. I think he's going to get him in the clinch. I think he's going to pick him off with the longer shots with his reach. And I think he's going to take him down. And De Silva, I feel like he's going to get too aggressive, get taken down a little too easy. And I think it could be a close fight. I could see De Silva maybe getting a submission. So, I'm not extremely confident on either guy, but I would say I'm going to pick Alexander Yakovlev via decision in this fight. Up next here, we have a fight that, I've been going back and forth on this fight as well. Sultan Aliev against Keita Nakamura. And it's an interesting fight, because both of these guys, I feel like, Keita Nakamura, he seems like he's fading a little bit, man. I mean, he fought in the UFC all the way back in 2006. He's been a pro for a long time. And Sultan Aliev also, he looked very good, like in physical condition in his last fight. But, Warley Alves kind of put it to him and, busted his eye. But, Sultan, actually rewatching that fight, I thought that the first round, he didn't look nearly as bad as I had remembered. But, obviously this fight's going to be, in his last fight, Keita, who's normally, a jiu-jitsu guy, he gets a lot of submissions, he's opportunistic. We all saw him, be losing to Leech and then pull a submission out of the hat, get that finish late in the fight. But he was against Salim Chouhari, he was using his jab, using those leg kicks, those body kicks, even going high with a few kicks, which I think could be effective in this fight. And, kind of winning with the striking, pot-shotting Chouhari, didn't go for many takedowns. And obviously in this fight, I feel like going for takedowns against a Russian guy who's a master of combat sport like Sultan Aliev, that's probably not the right thing to do here. Sultan Aliev, when he gets a hold of guys, you saw like against Bojan Belichkovic in that body lock clinch, gets his hands locked. He puts people on their backs. He brings people for a ride. So this guy definitely is a hell of a wrestler, man, and he's a gold medalist. He's won some world titles in combat sambo. So he's a serious guy. He's had a lot of competition time, and he came back from a 3-year layoff, and his striking is just not where it should be for the UFC, man. He has his hands low. He kind of is a little bit stiff. He enters the pocket. He's just very hittable, and I feel like Keita is going to be able to touch him with shots, but Sultan has a hell of a chin, man. He's able to eat a lot of shots. I know he did get flatlined by Kenny Robertson with a one shot, but I still feel like he has a solid chin. And, I just think that if he can close that distance, get Keita on his back, I just think it's going to be very hard for Nakamura to get a submission, man. A guy like Aliev, in combat sambo, they have submissions as well, I believe. And, he just looks like a very strong guy. He can pull out of submissions. He can muscle through. He can pressure pass into side control when you throw up the leg. So I just feel like he's going to be able to avoid those submissions. Even if you take his back, he knows how to shake people off. He's shown that before, and I just feel like, man, I just think that he's going to be able to get some takedowns in this fight. I think it's going to be very close. And I think Keita, may even deserve the victory here. He may, win around the striking, and Aliev gets a takedown and doesn't do much. And then he's attacking with submissions off his back, and Aliev's just laying on him. But I I just feel like Sultan Aliev here is going to be able to get a couple takedowns, and whether he does anything with them, I just think he's going to be able to win a Russian decision here, man. A very, not biased, but maybe a little bit questionable, close decision where a lot of people are going to think Keita Nakamura won, but they're going to give it to Sultan Aliev. So I'm going to go with Sultan Aliev via split decision in this fight. And up next, we have an awesome fight, in my opinion, one of the best fights on the card, with two newcomers, with Movsar Evloev and Suwoo Choi. And Suwoo Choi, he's a 7-1 prospect out of South Korea, and he's long, rangy. He's a striker, solid footwork, good distance control, nice leg kicks, really nice 1-2. His jab is very nice, in my opinion. He does a good job of pull countering with that straight right hand to maintain distance, and he's good at throwing a straight right hand left hook combination. He finishes a lot of his combinations with leg kicks, and he has solid front kicks, round kicks to the body, nasty front kicks to the head. He'll throw spinning heel kicks, question mark kicks, roundhouse kicks to the head. He's very dynamic. He's tactical as well. He won't overextend. He doesn't put himself in bad positions. Big power. He has good accuracy. And I've seen him get multiple one-punch knockouts. He has 5 KOs and 8 wins. In his one loss, he was knocked out himself. But in the fight, he got dropped with the first punch. He was finished with ground and pound, so he kind of got caught cold there. And I think that his striking is pretty legit, man. I mean, he's going to be a lot bigger than Evloev. Evloev is coming up from 135 pounds. I think he's going to have a substantial reach advantage. And, he's going to have to be a sniper on the feet, try to kind of just pick Evloev off, keep him on the outside, and knock him out. But he's not really an offensive grappler. He's going to be trying to use his striking to maintain distance, fight at range, obviously. And he looks hard to take down in the clinch because of his height, his size. He has good elbows. He has fast hand speed. He can land nice combinations off the break. He's good in the tie plum. He gets big knees to the body and the head. He can be controlled against the clinch, but it looks like, he's hard to take down. I have seen him get a couple body locks in a fight where his opponent was trying to take him down a little too aggressively in the clinch. But overall, I've seen very little of his wrestling and none of his bottom game. And he's going to obviously have to deal with the heavy dose of wrestling here, and he needs to have his defense on point. But he does have nice distance control. He's going to have a height and reach advantage. And he needs to use footwork, move, walk Evloev into his jabs, his straight punches. And if he can keep the fight on the feet, I see him piecing Movsar up. I think he could even get a finish if Movsar can get takedowns. And it's all going to come down to if Choi gets off his back. But Movsar Evloev, he could be fighting in Russia. And, he's welcoming the South Korean there. He's 10-0. And he's fought pretty solid talent. He's the former M1 Global Bantamweight Champion. And he's a grinder. He has decent striking, but I would say his striking isn't really that great. He'll throw jab 1-2s. He has decent check left hooks. He likes to grab that single collar, throw uppercuts, and he'll also throw, solid rear leg head kicks, question mark kicks also. So he throws some dynamic things into his arsenal, but I feel he will struggle with fighters who have solid movement, range striking. He does a lot to close the distance. He doesn't have a lot to close the distance. He can overextend, with sloppy hooks, overhands, trying to get inside. He's a little bit stiff, in my opinion. And, I feel like definitely Choi will have some openings on the feet to land some shots. But he does have a head kick knockout. Movsar does. And he has 3 KO TKOs. He's shown a good chin in his career. And he's an excellent wrestler. He has nice double legs. He'll shoot singles. He'll take the back off the singles. Very strong in the clinch. He'll dig underhooks, muscle opponents to the ground, straight into the mount. He likes getting a half guard. He smashes opponents, from there until they'll turtle up, and then he can, beat him up from the wrestling right position or take the back. Most of the time when he's taking an opponent down, they're not going to get up for the remainder of the round, especially as the fight goes on. And he has a strong mount. He'll look to throw hard ground and pound. He has good back takes, back control, and he has tremendous grappling cardio. He wears on fighters with that pressure, pace, riding ability. He has been in 5-round fights, and he's shown the ability to, keep the same pace over 5 rounds. He is good off his back. He's good at sweeping the top position, and overall, extremely hard to take down. He has 4 submissions. They're all rear naked chokes. He's only 25 years old. He's improving, and I'm sure he's ready to make a statement here. And they should look to not exchange much on the feet. Just try to safely close the distance, get the takedown. On the feet, I think he's going to be much stiffer. He's going to struggle to land and find his range. And I think, he should just try to back trip with his jab, his overhand, and then, get him towards the cage, change levels, and take him down. If he gets top position, he's shown he's very good with top control. And I think he's going to be able to hold him down. But I have yet to see Choi off his back, so it's obviously all an unknown there. And maybe if Mazar gets him down, he could get an easily early finish, or Choi has a good game off his back. Who knows? But it's tough to pick against Mavzar here. It's a grappler striker matchup, and we've seen very little of the striker in Choi defend takedowns. But I just feel on the feet, Mavzar's going to struggle to get inside. I think he's going to get pinged up with those 1-2s with front kicks, and I think there's going to be a big speed difference here. Choi hits hard. He has some brutal knockouts, and I just think he's going to control distance. I think he's going to land his straight to keep Mazar on the outside, and I think if Mazar gets over aggressive, he could get knocked out. If Mazar is able to get a first round takedown, that may tell the tale of the fight. But the fight starts on the feet, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna go against the popular opinion here. I'm gonna go with Sumu Choi via second round TKO in this fight. Next here we're getting Krzysztof Jotko, and he's probably getting his final chance to keep his UFC job here, and he's looking like a pretty solid prospect, but he's fallen on some hard times here, and he definitely needs a win to keep his job. But he has good hand speed. He's deceptively long, and he has a good left-right hook, and he has good power, especially with his right hand. He can knock fighters out, big uppercuts, and he has good kicks as well. He's very mobile. He's good at keeping fighters at the end of his range, and he can open up with some wild kicks, spinning heel kicks, good roundhouse kicks to the body. He can go high to the head as well, and he has good defense. He does a good job with distance control, and he's also a solid grappler. He has great body locks, good timing, and that's where I think he's going to win this fight. If he does, I think he's going to be able to get it to the ground, land heavy ground and pound, transition to dominant position. He was able to show he's very underrated on the ground, in my opinion. He swept Talis Latis, who's a great black belt. He was able to dominate him, control him from top position. And, if he could do that to a guy like Talis Latis, I think he's going to do that to a guy like Alen Amadovsky if it becomes a grappling match. But he has good takedown defense. He has a good get-up game. He showed that against David Branch. And, he was controlled against the fence in that fight. But in space, he's dangerous. He's a good striker. He has good cardio. He's young and he's improving. And, Amadovsky, this guy's a dangerous guy as well. He's training out there in Rome, but he's training at ATT over there. So maybe they have some good grapplers and some good strikers over there. I'm not really positive on that. I don't really know how the grappling is over there, because what I've seen of his grappling, I'm not very impressed. He is 8-0. He has 8 knockouts. He has back-to-back wins in Bellator, and he's very aggressive. He swings for the fences. He had just had a 12-second knockout win with the jab, right hook, left hook combination. And his left hook is nasty, man. He'll throw a very nice 1-2 and then, pull counter with the left hook. And he has devastating power on that. Big power on his overhand right. And when he lands a big shot, he's very good at following up with the combination, putting fighters out cold. And when he drops opponents, he usually finishes them. He has devastating ground and pound as well. And if he gets you hurt, he's usually going to get the finish. He isn't a great grappler. His takedown defense is very questionable, and he gets very sloppy, labored, a little bit tired after the first round. And I just feel like, it's going to be a first round or bust fight for Amadovsky, because I feel like after the first round, Jotko is going to be much fresher. He's going to be able to take him down, and I think once he takes him down, I don't think that Amedovski's able to get up, and I don't think Amedovski has enough off his back to stop Jotko from transitioning to dominant positions, getting to the mount, taking the back, and just eventually just being able to get a submission or a finish on top. Because I just think that he's definitely going to be able to get a finish in this fight if he gets top position over the course of 3 rounds. And that's what I'm going to go with here. I'm going with Krzysztof Jotko to save his job here against this UFC newcomer. And I think that he's going to be able to do it via second or third round submission in this fight. And up next here, we have a very interesting fight with Shevchenko against Roxanne Modafferi. And, Antonina, she's obviously boosted up her profile because she's the sister of Valentina. But, she's also, a nasty striker herself. She's a Muay Thai world champion. And she's proven that in her UFC debut and her win on the Dana White Contender Series that, she's a pretty solid MMA fighter as well. She's really improved from when I saw her fight that Valerie Domingo, or I can't remember her name, Valerie on the local scene in 2017, where, I feel like if Roxanne fought that Antonina, she would probably win this fight because Antonina was getting her, got a couple leg kicks caught or body kicks and was taken down. She also was controlled off her back. She was able to stand up and was controlled against the cage. Probably, she won that round, but if Roxanne's able to get on top of you like that, then could be an issue for a girl like Antonina. And, I felt like Antonina was a little bit more open to being taken down, being hit in that fight. And now I feel like when you see her fight, she's much more technical. She throws, a lot longer strikes instead of getting in range where fighters can take her down. She sets her kicks up better. She angles better. And I feel like it's going to be a big struggle for Modafferi to get inside, get close enough to get a hold of her. And I just feel like the speed advantage, the footwork advantage, and just the striking ability of Shevchenko is going to be a lot for Roxanne to deal with. But everyone knows, Roxanne's a pioneer of MMA. She's, a much improved fighter. And, she's gotten much better at accentuating her reach as well. I mean, they're going to have a similar reach here. So Roxanne, she's going to have a chance to land some shots into takedown attempts, which is what I think she needs to do. And then try to just catch those kicks, find any opening she can to even potentially pull guard and work off her back from there. But, I just think that overall in this fight, unless Roxanne can back Antonina up towards the cage and get multiple takedowns, that Antonina's just going to, just be the better striker, pepper, worker, a little bit weather on her. And I think as the fight continues, she's going to be able to, open up a little bit more, start to attack Roxanne in the clinch, hit her with some big knees, big shots there. And I think Roxanne definitely slows down in fights. And, I think Roxanne's tough enough to make it to a decision here. But I think that Antonina would just run away with the fight in the later rounds. Even if I do potentially think Roxanne may be able to win round one or have some success in round one. But I think Antonina ultimately will win the fight via decision here. Up next here, we have a fight with Ivan Shirokov, or I don't know how to say it. Ivan against Devin Clark. And Ivan, he's 16-0-1. He's an undefeated Russian prospect. And, he's already fought a lot of notable names. He's defeated guys like Thiago Silva, Fabio Maldonado, Satoshi Ishii, Bigfoot, Rico Rodriguez, Jeff Munson. And it's going to be interesting to see how he looks in the octagon because, to be honest, he looks like a walking shot violation in a lot of his fights. But, he's a bit of a plotter. He's not very high volume and likes to throw overhand rights. He has some power. He has some good power in his left hooks as well. He throws an overhand right left hook combo, and he will occasionally throw a jab. He has decent inside leg kicks. He'll throw spinning back fists, back elbows at times, and he has landed that and hurt some fighters. But overall, I'm not impressed with his striking. He gasses very badly. He holds his hands down by his waist, and he's extremely hittable after the first round. He will look for some uppercuts, body shots at close range. He'll occasionally throw some spinning back kicks to the body, some head kicks. And he has a good chin, but I have seen him dropped and almost finished in the past. He was hurt by Bigfoot Silva, and he was probably finished. But it was a weird rule set they had over there where it was, if you get dropped, you get like a 10 count, and then you get put back in that same position. And but it looked like Bigfoot maybe would have had him out of there in a real MMA fight. But he does have 5 KO TKOs and 16 wins. His grappling to me is average. He'll try to back fighters towards the cage, get in the clinch, get those body lock takedowns, those trips. He'll also shoot double legs, and he has some decent double legs. He can finish them fairly well when he has you near the cage. He also tends to shoot them from too far out at times, and they can be stuffed. And fighters also are able to take top position on him. And he also shoots singles or doubles off his overhands in space. That's probably his best takedown in space. But once he gets fighters down, he does a decent job of getting to the back or the wrestling right position, landing shots, and he can be taken down himself. He has some decent get-ups, but he gasses fairly quickly. I think Clark will have the wrestling advantage most likely, but he was able to get an armbar in his last match. Not Clark, Ivan was able to get a. I think Clark will have the wrestling advantage, but Ivan was able to get an armbar in his last match against Thiago Silva, and he has 5 submissions, but I think Ivan is maybe going to be able to wrestle with him early, but that's not usually his game plan. So I think that he potentially would gas out if he tried to do that. But, Ivan should try to catch Clark with shots as he comes inside and, try to take his head off. Ivan hits hard. Clark is hittable. He has some chin issues. So if he can land clean, he could rock or finish Devin Clark. But, Devin Clark is fairly athletic. He's a powerful fighter. He's light on his feet. And he's going to be much faster here. He's going to be much more high volume. And he has solid inside-outside leg kicks. He'll throw solid 1-2s. He has a nice straight and overhand right. And he's good at closing distance with hooks or straight punch combinations. Good front kicks. He'll even throw hook kicks to the body and the head. Superman punches. And he likes to throw a lot of spinning back fists. But, I just don't. Sometimes he doesn't set them up. But, he'll throw those into explosive combinations, close the distance, which does work at times. He does hold his lead hand fairly low at times, and it can, lead fighters to land some big shots on him. And he also leaves his chin in the air when he closes the distance at times. So his striking is kind of basically to set the entries up, get the fight to the ground. And he is hittable, but he has power himself. But, overall, I feel like I would be more comfortable with him if I wanted him to win, to have the fight on the ground here. And he's a junior national college wrestling champion. I have seen him, try to get takedowns in almost all his fights, so I don't think anything's going to change here. He does a good job of feigning his way inside. He has good double legs. When he gets his hands connected, he takes his opponents down easily. He could take them for a ride usually. He has strong body lock takedowns, good head positioning, solid control in the clinch, and, he doesn't really have a lot of offense, though. When he gets top position, he'll throw elbows over the top. He's, looking to, just ride you out. He'll trap a wrist from the guard, and he'll try to turk the leg, moving him out, take the back. And, he does do a good job of throwing down some decent shots when he gets very dominant position. But, he's good at reshooting, redumping opponents, continuously taking them down. He had 14 takedowns against Mike Rodriguez, 8 against Jake Collier. And that's kind of what he does. He's able to be a blanket. Maybe he doesn't have the best, ability to hold fighters down, but he can stay connected, continuously take them down over 3 rounds, wear on you. And he needs to get, Ivan back up against the cage, keep the volume high, force him to work early. And Ivan has a very questionable gas take. I feel as long as Clark can safely get inside, grind on Ivan, take him down, even once early, he most likely will win the fight. I think he'll wear Ivan out, take away a lot of his power, be able to get takedowns, and probably avoid getting knocked out because he'll be more labored and, not have as much power. And I think David Clark should be the favorite here. I see no reason why Clark is the underdog besides location and maybe Ivan's record, but I feel Clark is the better athlete. He moves faster. He's a much better wrestler, and I think if he can land one takedown, back Ivan up, put him in the clinch, I think he's going to severely diminish Ivan's gas tank. And I feel as if as long as Clark doesn't get knocked out in round 1, he's going to win the fight. And as a dog to boot, I definitely think I'm going to be playing Devin Clark. I feel this line has a lot of value here. I'm going to be looking into it as the week continues, but I was, fairly surprised at the line here, and I actually am thinking about betting Devin Clark via decision in this fight, So, yeah, that's something I'm looking into, and it's definitely a fight to pinpoint as a live betting fight, potentially after round one if Ivan's looking very tired. So, yeah, I feel like I'm going to go with Devin Clark here, and most likely via decision. And up next year, we have Sergey Pavlovich against Marcelo Golem, and Sergey Pavlovich is once again a big favorite, and I'm not really sure why. He had a bad performance in his last match against Alistair Overeem. He got finished quickly in that first round, and that was his first career loss. And we have to see how he'll bounce back from adversity. But he's getting to fight in Russia; it's his home country, and I bet it's a big opportunity for him. But Pavlovich is very low volume, and he's really mainly a counter puncher. He likes to throw his jab, but that's one of the only strikes he uses as a lead. He will sometimes lead with the overhand right as well, but he likes to counter with the straight left right or left hook. And you also counter with combinations with the right hook. He'll throw a left hook overhand right combination. And his hand speed is not bad. He's fairly quick, decent leg kicks, and he'll even throw occasional front round kicks to the body. And he'll throw high kicks as well as spinning back fists. And when he has opponents hurt, he will try to open up, finish, but overall he's very low output. Usually, if fights hit the scorecards, it's close, and he has multiple fights where the decision was basically a 50-50. His counterpunching, it does make opponents hesitant to throw also, and he's had quite a few uneventful fights. He likes to feint forward, inch forward, make the cage small, try to force reactions out of opponents. And in the fights where he gets most of his knockouts, it's where his opponents are going first. He's solid fighting, moving backwards. He's dangerous with his counter punches, and he's heavy on his lead leg, though, so I expect Goldman to try to chop him down with the leg kicks. And he does have 9 KO TKOs. Usually doesn't get hit much on the feet. And, he was finished by ground and pound for the first time in his career in his last fight, and it was pretty brutal. So we have to see how he comes back from that. But he's still young, and he isn't a super active grappler. I don't expect him to wrestle much here, but he isn't a bad wrestler. He has strong double legs. He doesn't have the greatest top control. I feel that's why he doesn't go for many takedowns, because it's probably just a waste of energy if his opponents are going to get right back up. But he has good takedown defense. He's strong in the clinch, good knees. And in his last match, he was taken down and taken out by ground and pound. But he has no submissions. He's never been submitted. He's going to need to get inside. But he has an 84-inch reach, so he's going to be able to land counters from farther out. But if he can counter the kicks of Golem, get inside, force boxing combinations, I think he can knock him out. And Pavlovich is also more experienced. He's fighting at home. He has a better gas tank. But Marcel Gomes lost back-to-back fights, and he needs a win badly here. He's still very young for a heavyweight. Both these guys are. They're only 26 years old. And he has a lot of upside, and he looked improved in his last match. He moved his camp to ATT. I expect him to look more improved here. And he's definitely lighter on his feet. He moves quicker than Pavlovich, and I don't think his hands are very good, though. He'll throw a jab 1-2. He likes to mix in hooks, overhands. And he'll try to time counter uppercuts his opponents move inside, but he drops his hands after he throws punches, and he likes to reach for the clinch. And if he does that in this match, he could be put to sleep with counter punches. And Golden should try to work behind his kicks here. He should try to use his jab, straight punches to set him up, but not throw a lot of combinations with his hands. Look to throw only one-shot attacks and, use those stunning leg kicks. He really hurt the leg of Arjun Bular in his last fight. You should try to throw those front round kicks to the head, to the body. And he has very heavy head kicks. He's very fluid overall with his kicking technique for a heavyweight. He likes to back fighters toward the cage, overwhelm them with combinations. And he has good cardio there. He can throw 10-plus shot combinations. He really goes hard for the finish. He doesn't move his head. He gets hit with a lot of jabs, punches, and exchanges. He doesn't pace himself well. He goes for the finish very hard in round one. And, he gets tired, and he has 5 KO TKOs all in the first round. All of his wins are via first round finish, all 6 of them. And he has 2 losses via decision in his last 2 fights that have not gone past the first round. And Golem likes to use punches to close distance, get in the clinch as well. He'll dig underhooks. He tries to push fighters against the cage, and he'll attack with short shots. But I think he does this mostly to take rest and then just, break with big combinations. And he has good clinch knees off the break as well. He was able to get a body lock takedown on Christian Colombo, take the mount, move to the back, get a rear naked choke. But that was after he battered Colombo, and I don't think Golem is going to be able to do that to a fighter like Pavlovich. he can't be backed up himself. And as the fight continues, he accepts getting backed up against the cage, controlled there. He does have good takedown defense. He was never taken down by Timothy Johnson. He stopped the majority of former Olympian Arjun Bular's takedowns, and he looked good in his last match. He had solid movement, heavy leg kicks, and he needs to use that here. He needs to try to pot shot Pavlovich with the jab, chop the leg, and if he can hurt Pavlovich's leg substantially, then he can start to go forward, try to land more combinations, control the clinch. And he needs a win here with back-to-back losses. Definitely it should be focused on getting a victory. And I'm going to go with Pavlovich here, but the line is crazy. I think Pavlovich will be able to back him up, get him a big gunshot with counters. I could see him making Gold panic and trying to clinch, and Gold getting knocked out or, just getting a defensive shell, and it's a boring decision for Pavlovich. I do see the path to victory for Golem, and I think that all the value is on Marcelo Golem, but I'm going to go with Sergey Pavlovich via a pretty lackluster decision here. And up next year, we actually have a fun fight with Islam Makhachev taking on Ahmed Sarakian. And, Sarakian, this is a weird matchup for Islam to take because I was pretty impressed with the tape on Sarakian, and Islam definitely deserves a bigger name here, but Islam is 5-1 in the UFC, 4 consecutive wins, back-to-back first-round finishes, and he's looking like a true contender. He's a friend and main training partner of Khabib, and he has a fairly similar style, but I would say he's a bit lighter on the feet. He's not as stiff, and he likes to walk fighters into his punches. He has a nasty 1-2, big power in his left hand, and very heavy head kicks, front kicks. He'll even throw question mark kicks, and he knocked out Glacian Tybura with a nasty straight left hand. He'll throw a right hook, straight left hand combination. Nice overhand left leads and solid defense, good footwork. He doesn't get hit much, and largely he's dominated all of his UFC fights. Like I said, he's won back-to-back fights via first-round finish, and with the win here, he deserves a major step up. His one career loss, he was caught with the bomb and knocked out. So, he has shown that he could be knocked out, but that's the only time that he's lost in his whole career. And, Islam isn't a huge knockout artist. He only has 3 career finishes via strikes. And, he's just a brilliant grappler. He'll back opponents to the cage with forward pressure, clinch them up, excellent control, great body locks, trips, and he has, just really great passing ability. He can turk the legs, move directly in a mount. He's great at going to half guard, trapping a wrist, raining down shots until opponents are forced to give their backs, and he has excellent top control. When he takes opponents down, most likely they're not going to get back up to their feet. On top, he's always looking to improve position. He lands big ground and pound, and when he gets to dominant positions like the mount or the back and is able to posture up, the fight's usually over, and he's lays down heavy ground and pound. He can wrestle all day. He can continue to get takedowns for 3 consecutive rounds, and, he needs to continue to just do just that. He has 7 submissions, nice arm bars. He has good rear naked chokes. He's never been submitted. And, he needs to just use that forward pressure, get inside, use his hands to get the takedown. And when he gets top position, move to dominant position and finish the fight. And I think if he can get to the mount or the back, he can most likely finish the fight against anyone in the division or a lot of guys in the division. And for Arman Sarakian, he's a young 22-year-old, 13-1 prospect, and he's coming off a head kick knockout. He's getting a massive opportunity here. And if he's able to come in here and upset Islam Makhachev, he's going to jump probably right into the top 15. To me, this is a very similar matchup to, or not a similar matchup, but a similar weird type fight with, who was that? Michal Prazeres and the Austrian Wonder Boy, that Nardiev, that actually beat Prazeres, because it's like a guy that's coming in that's pretty good. He's light on his feet. He's good at pushing forward, feigning while bouncing in and out. He has intelligent pressure. He throws jabs to the body and the head. He has a very nice left hook, overhand left, straight right. He has very nice kicks, inside leg kicks, round kicks. He'll throw kicks to the body and the head, nice spinning techniques, spinning back fists, spinning back kicks to the body. And his boxing, I would say, is not as good as his kicks, but his kicks are very nice. You can exploit him in close range. He's also heavy on his lead leg, but he did get a nasty head kick knockout in his last match. He should be more confident than ever with his striking. He has been knocked out one time early in his career, but he has 5 knockouts himself. And he's a solid grappler. He has decent double leg entries. He's a backpack, always looking to get to the back mount, looking for rear naked chokes. He's good at getting a tight waist, hanging on opponents, re-dragging them down to the mat. Does a good job staying connected. And, I've seen him attack with pretty good Kimura attempts when he's in that position. Or opponents attack with pretty good Kimura attacks when he's in that position with when he's controlling the person with the tight waist. But he's able to elevate, land big slams, shows big strength to get out of those positions. And he seems to stay very calm in submission attempts. He's able to slowly work his way out. He will work with short punches, elbows from the guard, and he isn't a super big threat to finish with strikes in top position. I would say the most dangerous part of his ground game is his rear naked choke. I have seen him, put people out with that rear naked choke. He doesn't look to have a great game off his back, and when he gives up position, he lets opponents posture up, land big shots, and that's why I think he can't allow Islam to get top position because I feel like it could be over if he does. But he has 5 career submissions. He's never been submitted. He's taken this fight on short notice against an elite fighter, and this is a big task for him to take on. Arman is up against it here. He's usually a grappler, but I think Makhachev is just head and shoulders better in the grappling, especially if he can get Arman off his back. And Arman's going to have to try to keep it at kicking range, catch Islam with shots as he tries to get inside. And if he can land a big shot that stuns and put Makhachev down, then that's, his path to one of the bigger upsets of the year. But I think Islam should win here. He's the better, more powerful striker. I think he's the better athlete. I think he's the better grappler. And I just don't see a lot of path to victories for Arman. I don't see him surviving 3 rounds with Islam. And I'm going to go with Islam via first or second round TKO via ground and pound. And up next here we have the main event with Alistair Overeem against Oleksiejczuk Oleinik. And Overeem, he's one of my favorite heavyweights of all time. I've picked him in every single video that I've done where he's had a fight so far on my YouTube channel. And only been 1 and 2, but we're riding that win streak last time, baby. You got that knockout off Sergey Pavlovich. I bet on the Reem in that fight. Felt good off that bet. I mean, a lot of people were, throwing some shade on Overeem. They were saying he's done. He was going to get finished in that fight. He's going to get knocked out by Sergey. But, he was able to show some new skills. Maybe not new skills, but some skills that he hasn't shown in a long time where went over there to Elevation Fight Team, training with Curtis Blades, who everyone knows is great wrestler, the most takedowns in heavyweight history. And, he went back to that. He went back to taking fighters down and finished Pavlovich with some brutal ground and pound. I mean, really looked very good with that. And, he has a totally different matchup here, though. He's going to be taking on a guy in Oleksiejczuk Oleinik, who everyone knows about Oleksiej. I mean, this guy... he's able to get some weird submissions, man. I mean, he's able to do some things on the ground that not a lot of fighters could do. Those Ezekiel chokes. I mean, he's able to get them from the mount. He got it against Junior Albini from the guard. I mean, just very, I don't know. I mean, it's very, I don't know if he's going to be able to get a guy like Alistair Overeem in that. I mean, I just don't see that. And I feel like Oleinik, I mean, he obviously has the squeeze from hell, man, and he throws wild, he throws some weird angles, and he uses that to get takedowns, and he's just a savvy veteran. I mean, over almost 70 fights. I mean, this guy has 57 victories. He has a ton of finishes. I think he has over 50 finishes in his career. He definitely has power he can crack. I mean, we saw him knock out Jared Roshaw, and Overeem has chin problems, so I mean, that's the path to victory for Oleksiej. I mean, he dropped Mark Hunt as well. So, if he could either get a takedown, top control, and finish the fight that way, which would be very impressive because, Overeem is a pretty elite grappler himself, and very hard to take down, notoriously hard. So if he's able to do that, that'd be impressive. I mean, we've seen Overeem beat a lot of good grapplers, most notably, he's beaten Fabricio Verdum multiple times. He's beaten Brock Lesnar. I mean, he's kind of a grappler killer, man. So, Oleksiej Oleinik, I mean, he's going to be much stiffer. He's very hittable. He's very plodding. He's slow. He's 41 years old, man. Almost 42 years old. He's coming off a long layoff now. And, man, I mean, I just struggle to see him being able to win this fight. I just don't think that... I don't see him being able to win the fight, man. I don't think that he's going to be able to get Overeem on the mat. And I think Overeem is just too smooth on the feet. He's too good. And I think that Oleksiej is too hittable, man. Oleksiej gets hit a lot. And you just don't want to get hit by a guy like Alistair Overeem. I think that it's a big advantage for Overeem that he's already trained and sparred with Oleinik, because I think Oleinik, a lot of reason why people struggle with him is because of his awkwardness, because they've never seen a guy fight like him before. And having that, prior knowledge of sparring with him, seeing how he moves, seeing potentially how he sets up that Ezekiel choke, how he sets up his grappling transitions, how he's trying to shoot takedowns, all that is just invaluable for Overeem, and it's a good thing for Oleinik too. But I just think that just in terms of athletic advantages on the feet, there's just some things that Oleinik isn't going to be able to get out of that Overeem was able to get out of it. And it is some weird things that it is in Russia, but Oleksiej's taking this fight on short notice. It was supposed to be the best Russian heavyweight, arguably, with Alexander Volkov, at least the most highly ranked. But Oleksiej's taking this fight on short notice against the Reem, and I just think that the Reem's going to be able to get a first-round finish. I think he's just too much on the feet. He's going to be able to hit Oleksiej with a ton of shots, and I just don't think anyone is going to be able to walk through shots from Alistair Overeem for very long. So I think Alistair Overeem is going to either put him down with a kick or a punch and knock him out in that first round. So going with Alistair Overeem via first round KO TKO in that fight. And for the parlay of the week, I'm actually going to do a play of the week because I don't really like a lot of parlays for this week. So I'm going to say to do Michael Oleksiejczuk inside the distance. I like that play. And I also like to, just monitor that fight as well live. And if Gadzhimurad and Antigulov wins the first round and you can get a plus number for Oleksiejczuk in the last 2 rounds, I think that'll be pretty valuable as well. And for the most confident pick, I'm going to say Alistair Overeem. But overall, I think this is a pretty tricky card. I mean, I think it's a kind of a tough card to bet on. But, hopefully we can cash on these bets, and hopefully we can have a pretty profitable week here. And hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe. Have my PayPal in the description if you want to send any donations. And comment and tell me who you think are going to win. What are your bets? What are your plays? And I'm going to be coming out with some different videos this week. Some, videos about the fights from last week with Poirier, Max Holloway, Israel. And maybe trying to put out some more, videos during the week. I know I've said this more than a few times now, but really actually try to put the time in and put in some more videos, different type of videos. So hold me to that, and going to be trying to do that more. Definitely going to be trying to do live streams more, and I'll shout it out when I'm going to do it, so you guys could all join me if you want to do that. But yeah, thanks again for watching, and good luck on your bets, and have fun watching this UFC St. Petersburg.